Hi viewer, it's your favorite program on Vanguard Live once again, Youth and Social Life. And you know how we do it? We talk about everything concerning youth and their social life. And I'm your host, Dammy Ubushaki. And today, we'll be talking about on human trafficking. In recent research by Wikipedia, human trafficking ranks fourth highest in the list of crimes committed in Nigeria, and this crime is mostly against the children from age 0 to 18. And right now, Igede community in Benue State are saying enough is enough. No more child labor. They don't want their kids to be used as sex slaves. So they want them back in the community. And heading this is Barrister Michael Awo Ije. Is right here with me in the studio. He's the founder of OGEDEGEDE Community Development Foundation. You're welcome.
Thank you.
And also we have Awulo Moses Ojeka with us in the studio. He's the National Director of Programs. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, it's lovely having you here today.
Yes.
Okay, and please, Barrister, please can you tell us what this foundation is about?
Yes. Thank you, viewers. OGEDEGEDE Community Development Foundation is, a conglomeration of youth who are determined to end social vices and to distort the very repugnant social order in Igede land that enslaves or encourages the enslavement of their children. In the last 50 years, we have through research and through oral interview, we come to understand that a lot of our parents and elder brothers and sisters were migrated to the southwest part of Nigeria to work in cocoa farms, to work in food and cash crop farms. This has persisted for a very long time. Now, the Igede, typical Igede community, they consider this as an avenue to earn income and to increase their family's wealth and all of that. So it has metamorphosed into the modern type of trafficking, where in the last couple of years, young children who do no longer want to go into farming are sent to urban areas, for house help and other endeavors which are considered exploitative and against the law.
Okay.
Thank you. That's what we stand for.
Okay. Considering this and what you're doing, what are the logistics involved in bringing them back to the community?
Yes. We as an organization, we're working right now with in collaboration with NAPTIP, secured partnership with them, and we are basically an advocacy group. So sensitize the rural community on the dangers of trafficking and child labor on the children and the adverse effect that these practices have on the entire community itself. What we're trying to do is to encourage agencies of government, our legislators and several other critical stakeholders to repatriate these children home, to send them back to school, to engage them meaningfully in entrepreneurial dispositions. We have in the last 5 months we have met with virtually every top Igede person, to tell them to take action.
Okay.
There are several well-meaning Igede people that you may know. We have reached out to them to take action in helping repatriating these children back home. Now, I told them jokingly that if this persists, a lot of these children, when they come to the urban areas or come to the rural areas for farm and all of that, they imbibe cultures of drugs, issues of sexual exploitation, issues of arrogance and insubordination to parents, and several other, cultures that are alien to what we know the culture of honesty that the Igede person stands for. I told them that if you people keep quiet, these children will become a menace to the community. You may not be able to come home because they will kidnap you on the road, and a whole lot of things will happen. We try to instill this action, that consciousness in them. We've reached out to the local government, the local government areas, basically the 2 local government areas and we have, spoken with them at length on the need to take action, immediate action. Only in December, on 27th of December, we're also at Obi local government area that is endemic for this trafficking. And we spoke with the member, the federal lawmaker who who coordinates both Uju local government and Obi local government, the federal government
But
representative.
this your foundation, is it just focusing on just Benue State, or you are also putting people outside on other states?
Yes,
in
we are,
nation?
yes. Our mandate is not only Benue,
Okay.
but charity begins from home. So we, the founders and BOT members and a number of the people working with us are from Benue, and we identified that nobody has actually come out to speak for the Benue child, especially the OGEDEGEDE child. So we decided to start from there. But we have child trafficking nationwide as on our table.
Okay, okay,
Yes.
thank you. And Aulo, please, can you tell us how to identify these children when you see them? You said you have them in the society and you're putting out people to bring them back. So how do you identify them?
Well, like you rightly said, it's a very strong network, especially the trafficker.
Yes.
They try as much as possible to conceal, to make sure that you won't even know if this child is being trafficked, because it cannot be brainwashed. They tell them a lot of beautiful things to make sure that even when the law enforcement officers are trying to rescue or to help them, they won't disclose the real reason or how they were being trafficked. So with that, we've also come to know first, every child that is below 18 years is not meant to be sent out to do domestic work, because you are doing that against the will of the child. At that point, the child has not been able to make proper decision for him or herself. So we look at that. Those are some of the parameters. It's a federal law. If you look at the NAPTIP Act, look at it, that below 18 years are not supposed to be sent to do any job against you for the benefit of either whoever that is sending you, even your family and all that. That is why we came with end child breadwinner. A child cannot be the breadwinner of the family. You need to train a child properly before you start giving
Okay,
back.
we'll talk back on. We'll continue right after
Thank
the
you.
break.
Right.
Okay, so don't forget to like and follow us on our social media platforms showing on the screen, and visit our website vanguardngr.com to get more of our top stories. We'll be right back after the break. Okay, welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Youth and Social Life on Vanguard Live, and we've had barrister Michael Aweje with us in the studio, and we've also had Ajulo. Okay, sorry, Awulo.
Yes,
Awulo with us also in the studio. We'll be talking about child trafficking. Okay, Awulo, you're welcome back, and Michael, you're welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, you said something about child breadwinners.
Yeah.
So now that you said you're bringing them back, the parents that took them outside, do they agree with this?
Yes, the first problem or the challenge there is not, most families, it's not as if these families are terribly poor or they are the most poorest.
Yes.
Most time when we look at this thing, we talked about the economic factors. But the fact is that first is awareness. These parents are not really sure of what their children are being sent out to do.
Okay, so
because they have been
that's what they've
deceived.
been doing.
Yes, they have been deceived by the trafficker. A lot of them tell them that they are taking their kids to go and further their education. But meanwhile, when they bring them to cities, they are being distributed to do all sort of dehumanizing jobs.
Okay, so the parents don't actually receive a pay when they are sending them out.
Some of them, is not all, some of them receive some pay. Those parents that really know what their children are being sent to. Some of them are being sent to. And whatever they are being paid for is not even, it's not up to the level of what their children are being going through. So that calls for the publicity, the sensitization that we are doing in the villages. A lot of them, when we talk to them, letting them know what their children are being passed through when they are being sent out. Oh, so really, they accept the sensitization and accept recalling their kids back home. But those people who don't even know what their children are being sent to do in the city, that is a different case entirely. And we also agree with us. So is a holistic approach we are putting into it. The people who are aware, the people who are not aware what their kids are being sent for, we are carrying all of them along, and it's a very large cooperation that the children should participate in.
But I'm sure not all of them are agreeing with this.
No, not all of them.
Okay, so
not all of them, because some of them will ask you. Some of them will ask you. You are asking me to send back the kids. What do you want them to do at home? That's one basic question that keep popping up.
Okay, speaking about what they will do, what are the arrangements that you put down for them when they come back?
Good. Like he said, we are more of an advocacy program group, and we have also been talking to people concerned. One, we want them to go back to school to further their education. Yes. If they don't have parents or people who could not afford education, we told them to put these children into other entrepreneurial skills. They can learn trade, they can learn tailoring, they can learn a lot of things that would better their lives in the future. And already we're also putting those programs into consideration. We want to do a lot of empowerment program for them. We want to put skill acquisition centers in place for them. Okay. So which is all what we are trying to get into partnership with other relevant government agencies.
Okay. Barrister, you said they want to mention, they want to put some. What of the people, education? Are you also putting education in the front line and teaching them?
Yes. Thank you so much. OGEDEGEDE is very remote.
Yes.
We're very backward in terms of infrastructural development. We don't have good roads. We don't have the social amenities. Those leisure parks and all of that. They are not there. They are alien to these people. So the youth have this craving to go to urban areas to have, this expression. And so we are contending with a lot of issues. The mindset of the young people who think that they can only succeed when they come, to the urban areas. And it's not restricted to Lagos. A whole lot of it is in Abuja. Virtually all the parks and gardens in Abuja are filled with OGEDE children. They work, in this menial and unskilled labor. And the unfortunate thing is this: after 5-6 years, a young boy or a young lady is sent away from home. Is sent away from this outfit. He or she leaves without a skill. He goes back to start all over. Yeah. So part of advocacy is that people should engage in entrepreneurial skills. Now, from September up to this very point, we've rescued about 7 children. Yes, we have one currently at the College of Education, OJU. We have a College of Education, OJU, which is the highest, academic institution in our place, which we are funding from our pockets. Yes, we started the campaign, the hashtag #FitAdipe, where we told people she was being trafficked abroad. I have personally interfaced with people who will be trafficked to Egypt, people who, some of them who came back from Libya after the fall of Gaddafi, and a lot of other countries, Senegal and Cotonou, and a lot of that. So this is real. Now, part of the things we are doing is engaging stakeholders, government at the grassroots, to do something, to grant free education to these children, and to build, entrepreneurial capacities. For example, yes, I spoke with the Secretary of Oji Local Government the last time, and I said we can have free tailor shops, or have what they call a mentorship plan, whereby you fix people in vocational training centers, or even privately owned vocational centers. For example, somebody can learn how to do hair, somebody can learn how to be a shoe mender, somebody can be a tailor, a fashion designer, or work in other skills. Now, what the local government should be able to do, or should do, is liaise with these people, get these children there to work for maybe to learn this trade for 6 months. You pay the owners of those facilities, and at the end you empower them with sewing machines and all this other equipment.
But we know that most of these kids, some of them, when they come back, if you try to initiate them, when you want to bring them back into the community, some of them might be facing psychological problems. So are there any medical attention that you want to give to them?
Yeah, that's why we're in partnership with NAPTIP. NAPTIP has the sole responsibility as the frontline government agency to do that. So whenever we have major issues, especially for foreigners who for people who have traveled overseas, we refer them straight to NAPTIP. Well, that's why we are working in synergy with NAPTIP. In the last 3 advocacy visits we held to the trenches, NAPTIP zonal commander Benue covered the whole of the North Central. Their office is in Makodi. They have been with us. I've sent about 12 officers at each of these 3 times. So it's part of the things we're doing to see how we can, when we repatriate these children, we send them to school. Right now we have a little girl, 13 years, is in school in Abuja. She's in school. We are taking responsibility for that from our pockets. We are driven by that self-conviction that no child should suffer from economic exploitation. No child should be a victim of economic migration. No child should be taken out of the shores of this country without, a child that is below 18 should not be taken out of this country without proper documentation and all of that.
Now, what we're talking about children, some of them were actually sent out when they were kids. But those that are now used, are there also plans to also bring them back to integrate them into the community also?
Yes. For issues of irregular migration abroad to places like Libya, to places like Europe and all of that, still within our mandate. So I'm working with NAPTIP to get them back, to repatriate them back, repatriate them to Nigeria, and to rehabilitate them. So it's part of the MOU we've sent to NAPTIP to see that victims that we have knowledge of are sent to these facilities. We are also in advanced stage of working with the social welfare. For example, the child we have, the 13-year-old girl who is in school, she's under the custody of the social welfare. The social welfare did a placement and put her in a home where we're taking responsibility for that. So it's part of the things we are doing to see how we are.
Mr. Ulu,
Yes.
what of these kids that some of them, when you approach them, they are not ready to come back to the community? What do you do in these cases?
Well, if you are of age,
Yes.
and if you are above 18, then you can make decisions for yourself. We don't have any legal framework to force you back home. That is one aspect of it. You can only be encouraged, you can only be advised to take the right decision. Like I was talking when we were home, the last rally we did, talking to some of those government agencies and leaving the locals, we told them, the traditional rulers, all the traditional rulers, the first class of the OGEDEGEDE kingdom is solidly behind us. He was shot, he's a retired police officer, highly placed. And these are some of the things he has witnessed. He has served here in Lagos and several other places.
Oh, sorry to continue. I asked you the other time, how do you identify them? Like, is there a way that you approach them and say, okay, are you from OGEDEGEDE Community?
Well, there was something we did, a random sampling.
Okay.
One time in Abuja, we were just him, myself, and one other of my colleagues. Because even when you are moving, you listen to them speak. Even walking on the streets, listen to them. And we did a random sampling. We said we saw 3 very young girls at about 15, 16, hawking on the road, just across the joints, the drinking joints. I will now say, okay, we're going to speak language with these people to find out who they are. And we just greeting in our language, just obey is a greeting, just hello.
Okay.
And 3 of them responded. So, and when see people that are from your background, somewhere, somehow do you understand? That is just on one aspect. And several other people, a lot of them don't even want to come out because of, like I said, they are being brainwashed. They tell them not to. Some parents, like the Faith Adequate case that you mentioned. In short, where this girl was, she was doing the house help work. She was told never to mingle with other people, other children. Yes. But somehow, he got to know from a sister of his, and we got to know that she was an educated person.
It's like Barrister had something to add to what you were
Yes,
saying.
yes. You talked about how to identify these children. Now, traffickers have devised a lot of means in, trying to go ahead of us. But the more they do, because of hindsight and knowledge, we are fundamentally ahead of them. Now, we interfaced with a particular motor park. They call it Ihio Motor Park in Igede, where a lot of children. In fact, it is believed that on monthly basis, not less than 50 to 60 children are transported from that place to the southwest.
Oh.
Yes, we're in touch with the Oba of Igede, the Adrahon Igede in Oyo State, who is recognized by the state government and given the certificate and mandate. Yes. Now, he has said that the population of Igede people in Oyo alone is over 1 million. Igede have a lot of voting power and a lot of that, to the extent that they are recognized even by the legislature and all of that. Now, people, the traffickers, sometimes they make arrangement with parents and the other agents. They keep the children in the bushes, on the bush path, because they are being monitored right now because of our sensitization. They drive to those communities and pick them randomly. So right now you will not see children gathered in a motor park coming to Lagos or Ogun State. No, they have gone past that stage. What they do is that they ask some children to go take a vehicle, maybe like a distance of 1 or 2 kilometers, just go stay there. Alone. So you can go there and you see maybe 1 or 2 children standing. When you ask, they say they are going on holidays. We met with the officials of driver union and the drivers themselves and the operators. Yes.
Transport.
We sensitize them, and they told us some of the challenges. The students will tell you they are going to Lagos to visit their uncles, and they're acting the script of the traffickers. Yes. So you hardly see them all converge in one place and be moved here. Now we already understand their route. We understand their machinations. So we are in touch with certain agencies, even in Lagos. There are certain police stations. We have recovered. We've had an issue in Denton police station where we have to recover a girl who had raped.
Taking it really outside then.
Yes. Lagos, we worked with Adeniji police. Here we've recovered another child from there and all that. Now, so we have parameters of identifying these children and identifying the victims of trafficking. Yes, part of the things that we do is that we are now holding the drivers responsible. We are now holding the parents responsible. Yes. In fact, the last meeting we held with the traditional ruler, the second class chief of Oka government, that area is endemic, is one of the highest in the whole of North Central region of Nigeria. Obi local government is one of the highest points in origin of trafficking. And he promised that through that is going to establish a traditional decree, in support of government, to ensure that any parent who allows his or child to be taken is punished. The same thing the topmost traditional ruler in our place had also said the same thing. They have converged.
So there's now a law
Yes, not a formal law, but the traditional institutions are now taking steps to end this, and because of our advocacy, we have a lot of network of people across the social media.
You have a lot that you're actually doing, but how do you get support in terms of finances and all this for this?
Yes, for now we are self-sponsored. In December we came in from the African Union's event in Cairo, and by the grace of God too, we will be going for the SDG festival in Bonn in Germany. We've been sent letters of invitation. We've not gotten any funding from anywhere. We're acting out of from determination and from our various forces. So volunteers, our young people who are volunteering, when they have loose information, they call us and we swing into action. That's what we're doing basically. We have no funding for now from any institution. Education or Agency, International
Okay, but
Community.
you are planning to, yeah, before we to get.
Yes.
Well, you know, the issue of funding, you'll be planning, but
Of course.
Yeah.
when you are
Yes.
planning. But for now, we
Considering
are
you are doing-
self-sponsored.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, considering it's a good initiative and all that.
Yes.
So it's been a pleasure having you in the studio, and you've actually educated us that every child has a right to good education and a good environment.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay, that is all for today on Youth and Social Life. And don't forget to like and follow us on our social media platforms showing on the screen, and visit our website vanguardngr.com to get more of our top stories. And today is Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Don't let anybody stop you from having a wonderful and lovely weekend. Bye for now.